You know, it's bad when you're only 10 days into January and you've already seen a candidate for the worst movie of the year. Um, if this is any indication, it's going to be a long year. I went to see Taken 3 the other night. And the only really good thing I can say about it is that at least it was a forgettable bad movie. It's not, it's not like Transformers 3 that's going to, kind of linger in my mind for 2 years. This one, wow. This is so generic. It's so bad. It's just... I'm so frustrated by this one, but I can only say that at least by this time next week I will have forgotten about it. So, I never planned to see this one. I'm heading into Oscar season, and I needed something fresh for my website, fresh review. And my plan had been to go out and see Tim Burton's Big Eyes. But they pulled that one from theaters after 7 days. Or our local theater, at least. Interstellar, the Chris Nolan movie, which I didn't like, has been here since November. Big Eyes, 7 days. See ya. So, like I say, I needed something fresh for my website. So, I saw Taken 3. And I've, to tell you the truth, already forgotten most of it. It's kind of movie you walk out of. It's so generic and so bad that you walk out of it and you just feel bad because it's like 2 hours of your life gone, and it's talented people put together this movie that's just so generic. I mean, the only thing I can really say positive is that today I'm going to see Selma and the Imitation Game. So at least that will be, at least there's something to look forward to there. But Taken 3, like I say, it's vapor. It just goes into your head and then leaves, and then you retain nothing. It's kind of like the kind of movie that Charles Bronson made late in his career, those bad action movies, if they were rated PG-13. The violence is clean. It's the cleanest violent movie I've ever seen. It's so... there's a guy in the movie who is shot in the head, and the scene is edited so poorly that you would think he just died of a heart attack. It's that bad. It's that kind of bad editing, bad filmmaking that you notice, and it takes you out of the movie. And the movie is so by the numbers. If you've seen a cop show, if you've seen a cop movie in the last 30 years, you've seen all the pieces that make up this movie. It's so bad. This kind of movie just frustrates me. Of course, the story, Liam Neeson, who can do good work. If you saw a Walk Among the Tombstones, he makes good action movies. Why is he doing this? This is junk. You know the story if you've seen the other two. His past comes back to haunt him. They're a guy, he's a CIA operative. His past comes back to haunt him, blah, blah, blah. Bad guys want to kill him. And the difference this time is that he's framed for a murder he didn't commit. He's at the scene of a murder, and he goes on the run from the cops and from the crooks. Fine. They've made The Fugitive. That's what they're trying to do here. The only problem is that every supporting character, the cops and the crooks, all look the same. They're all interchangeable. So we have no idea who's chasing him, what's at stake. We don't know any of that. It's just, it's just routine. It's action set pieces. It moves from one action to the next, and it's just frustrating. And you can't tell. There are three cops in this movie, and I couldn't tell them apart. One smokes, one has a jacket on, and I don't know if their names are ever given. It just. There's a head bad guy in this. He's a Russian, and he's so forgettable and so generic that he's in the first scene in the movie, and then he's in the last scene in the movie. He disappears all the way through the movie, and then just shows up at the end. And he's a Russian mobster, and it's like, why was he even in the movie to begin with? And and even when you go to see this movie as an action movie, it's clumsy. The action scenes make no sense. There's a scene in this movie where Liam Neeson drives his car. He's being chased through a parking garage. Drives his car backwards down an elevator shaft. The car and the elevator shaft explode, and we never see how he got out of it. He's in the front seat. We never see how he got out of it. It's just the explosion, and then it cuts to the next scene. It's that clumsy. There's a scene where he's being chased on the freeway in L.A., and his car goes off the cliff and rolls and tumbles several feet and then explodes. And we never see how he got out of it until later when they explain it, and it's like the only way that he could have gotten out of that or the elevator is for him to be a magician or be beamed out by Scotty. It's that kind of distracting crap. It's just, I hate this movie. I hate this movie. It's. I had the same reaction to this that I did to the last Transformers movie, in that when it gets to the action scenes, they're so generic and so forgettable that my mind just leaves the movie. I'm thinking about what I'm doing, the rest of my day, until the point where I'm just passively watching what's on screen. I'm not invested at all. The only memorable thing about this is another clumsy element. Forrest Whitaker plays a police investigator who is following Liam Neeson's case. He's the investigator on the murder. And we see him a couple of times in the movie. And at the beginning of the movie, this is a movie about a man who learns to appreciate bagels. He finds a bag of bagels at the crime scene. Okay? And he takes one out of the bag and he tastes it. Now, of course, I'm thinking, isn't that compromising the crime scene? I don't know much about law enforcement, but later he's sitting in a diner and he orders bagels, and he's sitting there. This is in the middle of, while all the action scenes are going on elsewhere. He is sitting in a diner and he takes a bagel out of a bag and eats it and thinks. And then at the end of the movie, a spoiler by the way, at the end of the movie, he tells Liam Neeson that the only reason that he knew he wasn't guilty was because why would a man bring a bag of warm bagels to if he was going to commit a murder? And I'm thinking, okay, that's the kind of thing that would have figured out in 5 minutes, in the first 5 minutes of CSI. I mean, it's so stupid. It's like, why was that even there? But the man learns to appreciate bagels. Hey, that's there. That's there. I swear I don't even know if this movie was finished. There's stuff that doesn't pay off. There are characters that have no purpose. It's just generic. It's dumb. It's not even a good, bad movie. The only positive I can say about this is that in about 3 weeks I will have forgotten about it. So that's my review. Um, the trailers I got weren't really any better this time. I got a review for a movie called Run All Night, which I thought was kind of redundant because it's a trailer for a Liam Neeson action movie right before I'm about to watch a Liam Neeson action movie. He plays a hitman. And in the trailer, he's sitting in a restaurant with Ed Harris, who has this look on his face. And he's trying to talk him out of killing his son, because apparently Liam Neeson killed his son. And it's sort of a retaliation thing. And I don't know. It could either be another Taken 3 or it could be a Walk Among the Tombstones. I don't know. I'm kind of burned out on Liam Neeson action movies at this point. I got a trailer for Furious 7, which I haven't seen the other Fast and the Furious movies. I'm not into car chase movies that don't have Burt Reynolds. That's just me. I guess the selling point here is Paul Walker, which is funny. The trailer makes very little note that he's in the movie. It doesn't make any more note that he's in this movie than Night at the Museum made that Robin Williams was in that one. So I can't really speak on this one because I haven't seen the other ones. It's more or less out of indifference. There was a trailer for a movie called Unfinished Business. It's a Vince Vaughn comedy. And he plays a small businessman who goes to Vegas goes to Europe to close out a business deal, and he takes his friends with him. One of them is Dave Franco, who apparently plays a doofus, and it looks like another man-child comedy, which no thank you. I miss the old Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn is the head of this, the lead in this. I so miss the old Vince Vaughn. You know, the one that showed the dramatic chops early in his career. Because I loved him in a movie called Return to Paradise and a movie called A Cool Dry Place. Ever since The Wedding Singer, he's just been making the same movie over and over again, and the trailer doesn't show any indications that this one will be any different. So I'm probably going to pass. Then there was a movie called Chappie, which is Neil Blomkamp, the same guy who did District 9. And this one appears to be kind of an E.T. kind of thing, where there's this robot who's kidnapped by two con artists and then dumped on the street, and then he's adopted by a dysfunctional family. It looks interesting. I have my doubts, but then again, I had my doubts about District 9, and I really like that. And the last trailer was The Kingsman, which I talked about last week. Again, I was bothered by Sam Jackson with a lisp. That's so distracting. This time I really noticed Colin Firth, who is playing a James Bond type in this. And that's really intriguing to me because so far he's played mostly kind of frumpy, stuffy Englishman. And here he seems to be trying to play somebody a little more slick. So I'm interested in that. And that one, I'm curious. I did kind of some research, and I noticed that it comes out on February 13th, and it seems to be the male alternative this year to the male alternative on Valentine's Day weekend, rather, to 50 Shades of Grey. And I will probably see both. This one I'm looking forward to a little more than that one. Because I read the book, and I read the book 50 Shades of Grey, and I didn't like it. But anyway, today I'm on my way to see Selma, which I'm looking forward to. and The Imitation Game, which I'm also looking forward to. Particularly because the Oscar nominations come out this week. Any number of these movies will be have to be infinitely better than Taken 3. They can't be any worse. So I'll be back tomorrow with my review of Selma and The Imitation Game. Until then, visit my website at www.armchaircinema.com, and I'll see you later.